Hi, my name is Mark Biernat. I'm a monetary economist. In this video, I want to talk about Russian oil. What is the impact for the world of Russian oil? Because right now, there are embargoes, there are sanctions, there are boycotts. Russian oil, it seems like Russia, they say, is the gas station of the world. Is it really? Does it have an impact? What is the significance? What if we just turn that gas station of Russia off? For geopolitical reasons? What would be the impact on the world? Put it in perspective. Right now, the United States is 21.3% of oil production around the world. That's number one. Saudi Arabia, I think, is about 13%. Russia, 10%. And then you've got Canada, our neighbor, friendly neighbor to the north, if you live in the States, at 6%. And then there's a huge, wide diversification of oil production, which is a good thing. Back in the 1970s, when OPEC was king, if they decided to turn down the supply of oil, then prices went up. But we survived that, right? And the demand elasticity for oil is pretty low, which means, the consumption of oil is not overly responsive to the price. Somewhat. You might not take that vacation to Europe, or you still may. Depends on your disposable income. So let's look at the impact. Russia right now has lost 15% of its oil refinery capacity. It's been vaporized for, obvious geopolitical reasons. And I'm talking the physical refineries are not working. They cannot replace that because these components come from Western countries. Very complex components. Initially, the actual oil reserves were targeted, but now it's the refineries. They cannot replace that 15%. It looks like it's going to 20% very shortly. Unless they have a convoluted way of getting these Western components around the sanctions, they can't replace that capacity. The ultimate goal is like 50%. So what if we lose, but let's shoot the moon and say, what if we turn off 10% of the whole world's production of oil? It doesn't affect me. I live in the United States. We've got U.S., Canada. We've got Mexico. We've got our own production. We're big on green energy. It probably won't be reflective on the price very much. Right now, we've got already caps and limits on Russian oil in the West. It might affect China. Do I care? No. It might affect India. India's already said they're out. Do I care? No. It probably a net benefit for the United States if Russian oil is turned off. So every single one of these refineries are removed from the map, which it seems like if I was an economist, which I am, and I were to run a regression on refineries removed from the map each week, it looks like a pretty linear or even logarithmic regression, and we're going to that 20%, maybe 50%, in a short time. So when Russian, and again, this is the refineries that create things like gasoline, kerosene, the high-grade stuff. They still have oil in the ground, but what good is it if you can't refine it? Maybe they'll find some complicated, convoluted way, again, to get around it. But my point is, Russian oil is not that significant, or at least not as significant as you think for world economic impact. It may have a little bit of a short term. I mean, I don't even use my car that much. What do? Go to the grocery store and back? I pretty much work at home. And, in the total budget, I have got food, I've got mortgage, I've got cell phone, and, gas is pretty low in terms of my total expenditures and a lot of people's. And even if it goes up, it's not going to go up 10% because of the elasticity of the supply and demand curve. But even it goes up 10% as a result of Russia being turned off completely. So what? I'm willing to pay that 10% not to finance a bad actor. Okay? So it looks like the impact of Russian oil embargoes and, sanctions and vaporizing the refineries, in the short term, it will be little to none. And in the long term, it will be great for the United States because we'll continue the path of energy independence. Green energies. My goodness, what about nuclear fusion? You unlock that, then all these countries that are relying on this one commodity, model, the resource curse, if you know what the resource curse is, they'll become, again, they'll just be blowing in the wind. So it's a positive thing that we're turning off Russian oil. The impact is little to none in the short term, very positive in the long term. And our objective here is to make the world a better place. Don't you want to make the world a better place? I do. So as the ruble falls, as the refineries are vaporized, as the sanctions get tightened, sit back, watch it all happen, and the world will become a better place. My name is Mark Biernat. I'm a monetary economist. Thank you very much. Have a great day.